Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dugout Daily. I'm Charlie and I'm joined by Bernard again. How are you, mate?
I'm fine, mate. I hope you're okay.
Yeah, I'm all good. We'll get straight to it then. Last night, a 4-1 win against Club Brugge. Thoughts on the performance?
Yeah, it wasn't the easiest first half, was it? But it is very hard for teams like Brugge to keep that sort of intensity and mental awareness and physicality, if you like, for 90 minutes. They're not used to it. They're not used to it in their league. No disrespect to the Belgian league, but they don't come up against sort of persistent play like they get when you're playing a team like City. And I say they held out for that first half, but obviously. It was perhaps a matter of time. We were a little bit worried at half time, but we obviously, once Pep had a word and tweet things, it was inevitable. I think that they would at some stage start to struggle, and they did from quite early on, didn't they, in that second half?
Yeah. We'll just quickly go through the stats then with the game last night. So 71% of the ball for us, 29% for Club Brugge, 22 shots to 7, 8 shots on target to 3, 6 shots off target to 2, 8 block shots to 2, 7 corners to 3, 2 offsides each, a lot more fouls by us, 7 fouls to 2. City having 7 big chances, Club Brugge only having 1. 4 big chances missed, only 1 for Club Brugge. We hit the woodwork, of course, with João Cancelo. We'll talk about him after. That's 18 shots inside the box to Club Brugge's 6. 4 shots outside the box to Club Brugge's 1. 4 saves for Mignolet for Club Brugge, only 3 for Ederson. 793 passes for us, only 317 for Club Brugge. 90% accurate passes for us, 75% for Club Brugge. 74% long balls were accurate to 41%. 13% of our crosses were accurate, only 15% for Club Brugge. 44% dribbles were successful, 47% for Club Brugge. 132 passes to 132 times the possession was lost to 119. 33 duels won to 41. 8 aerial duels won to 7. 12 tackles to 20. 14 interceptions to 15. And 8 clearances to 17. Do you think those stats represent the game?
Yeah, I think it does, mate, don't you? I mean, it doesn't always go like that, does it, with City? But yeah, I think that's a perfect reflection of the game, to be honest with you, obviously based on that. And fortunately, we did take some of the chances, but I think we got a little bit more space last night eventually to take those chances. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong in those. I mean, you'd expect them to sort of be slightly better on interceptions and stuff because it's us doing all the pressing, of course. So you'd expect that. So where they did do a little bit better than us is in the areas you'd expect. So yeah, if you saw those stats without knowing the score, if it hadn't been a 3 or 4 goal margin, you would have wondered, you would have thought, what the hell's going on? But hey, it's City, so we know we've been like that before and not scored a goal. I mean, you probably got a similar one last week to win the West Ham game, didn't we? It's probably similar stats to that if you think about it. It ended 0-0, but fortunately it was okay this time.
Yeah, and then the attack momentum. This graph, of course, Club Brugge had hardly anything, just 2 big blips really. A freak on goal was the goal for them, and then it was just domination for us. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what surprised me about Brugge last night as well was they weren't quite as physical. They were quite physical in that first game, and I thought, obviously, away from home. But I think you said there, I think we committed far more fouls than they did, which, as you said, on the basis that we weren't under that much pressure, is a bit of an odd stat. But yeah, they weren't very. I don't know what happened last night. They worked hard, but they weren't overly physical. Yet they were at their own place, perhaps having their own fans behind them. Perhaps you have to put in a little bit more bite. I'm not too sure, but they were quite they behaved themselves last night. But as I say, it's those stats total reflection of the game. And as I say, if that had ended 0-0 with that sort of dominance, you would have been panicking a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go through for the players then. Starting off with a keeper, Ederson. We'll just quickly go through his stats. 3 saves, 1 successful run out of 1, 1 high claim, 3 shots from inside the box were saved, 28 touches, 85% accurate passes, 4 out of 7 long balls were accurate, and there's just a general heat map for a keeper. Thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, I'm sort of on the fence with Ederson last night, to be honest. I mean, I've read a few people on social media today, and I watched back. Obviously, I saw that save he did initially that ended up in the goal. Last night, it looked very good. It did look very good to me from it was the opposite end, obviously, to where I stand. But looking at it back, some people are criticising him, and some people says, well, he didn't get much time to react, and I didn't think the guy was that close in. So I thought he made a bit of a meal of it. I'll be honest with you. As me, I'm in the keepers union. I'll stick up for Ederson all the time. But I think he made a little bit. He should have held that, in my opinion. I would have been disappointed not holding it. But that's how keepers play it. But I don't think Ederson does that. I think Ederson's quite happy to catch him. So it surprised me just a little bit that he didn't. He didn't seem to swerve or anything. But at least I think he should have put it out for a corner to actually put it back into put it out to the edge. And obviously, unfortunately, there was a Brugge player there. But so basically that was his main thing to do. And I'm not 100% sure he did it correctly. But I'm not going to say I won't have a downer on him. He did get my lowest mark last night, to be honest with you. He's the only one who didn't get the standard mark, because I just thought apart from that, he didn't really have much to do. And he didn't look, I think he said 4 out of 7 passes completed, which is okay, but it's nothing special. But he had no chance with the goal once he went in, of course, with Stones, with Bernardo and Stones combining to score their goal. But I do sit on the fence a little bit with Ederson last night. Some people are starting to slam him, and I've not done that up to now, but I think he could have done better last night, I think. But I say I'm not going to have too much of a downer on him. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think he should have done better with that one?
Yeah, I'm the same as you, really. When I saw the save originally, I thought it was a good save, and we're just an absolute howler at the back for the own goal. But then watching it back, I actually saw it on the big screen at halftime. I thought he could have easily caught it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I said, I know it's not the thing these days, is it, with these? But as I said, I think Ederson's quite good at catching it, and on the ground, he smothers balls, doesn't he? A lot. I think he had one shot that was he sort of got down well and smothered. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was okay. So yeah, it's just unusual. But I don't think he's all there at the moment. I think the last 2 or 3 games there's something not quite right. You sort of sense something's not quite happening, or some reason for something. Perhaps there's something. We're all human beings, mate. We might have something going on in the background we don't know about, and this is the thing. I don't think he's quite at it, but I'm sure he'll play his way out of it anyway, whatever it is.
Yeah. We got a big game on Saturday. We will be talking about that tomorrow, so better not have a howler in that game. Next up is the right back, Kyle Walker. Only played 80 minutes of the 90. 1 block shot, 1 out of 1 ground duels won. The same with aerial duels, 1 out of 1. 15 times he lost the possession. 103 touches, 89% accurate passes. None out of 4 crosses were accurate. 6 out of 9 long balls were accurate. 1 shot blocked and 1 dribble attempt successful out of 1. Thoughts on Walker's performance?
Yeah, that possession lost always looks a bit worrying, doesn't it? But obviously with defenders, it's when they're going up front. It's not as though they're losing possession on the edge of their own box, which is what you'd expect a defender to do. So I did worry when you first started throwing those stats at me a while back. I was thinking that's a lot of possession lost. But as you say, it's the fact he's getting up the pitch and his crosses aren't beating the man, and he's not beating that first man. It was okay, Kyle Walker last night. Nothing, I like Kyle Walker. I think he's not always great, is he? He was just a straightforward evening for the defence in general, I think, and basically it was just a good standard display. Nothing special. Didn't have to be. He didn't have to be anything special, did he? Let's be honest about it.
Yeah, definitely not. Next up then is John Stones. 2 clearances, 1 block shot, 2 interceptions, 1 on goal. That was just unfortunate, really. It weren't his fault. 4 out of 5 aerial duels were won. 5 times he lost the possession. 104 touches, 96% accurate passes. None out of 1 crosses were accurate. 3 out of 3 long balls were accurate. 1 shot on target, 1 shot blocked, and 1 big chance missed. Thoughts on Stone's performance?
Yeah, it was a great goal, wasn't it? I mean, poor thing, didn't know much about that one. He was one of my best players on the night, to be honest with you, John Stones. He sort of stepped into the sort of leadership role with Laporte as his sort of able assistant, if you like, I think. And that's why I like him playing with Diaz, because I think they're both leaders, they're both capable, and that's what I like about that. You don't have a deputy when them two are on the pitch. They're both quite capable of bossing it. And he was very unlucky actually not to score a goal. I think he got shot, he got blocked, didn't it? I think one chance he had. I think he was quite unlucky. I thought he was one of our, on a quietish night, on a night when we sort of won easy, if you like, and no one had to sort of break too much sweat once we got established in that second half. I thought he was one of our most outstanding players last night, and I'm well chuffed that hopefully he'll be back in that back. Hopefully injury free, fingers crossed, back in that back line now for City for the forthcoming games, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Would you say he's in our best centre-back partnership with Diaz?
Yeah, well, I think that anyway. I think I say certainly not before that. Obviously he's had his moments. We know he has, but again, in the same way, sometimes the psychological problems. I think he's had those as well. And I was a bit worried 3 or 4 weeks ago when he didn't make a trip to a game, did he? I thought, oh no, please don't have those problems again, mate. Not that sort of thing. But personally, I like Laporte. Don't get me wrong. And the thing is, Laporte is good. And the trouble is, will he be happy playing second fiddle again to John Stones? That's another question, isn't it? That's something else we can discuss whether he will, in fact, go this time, because it was hinted last season that he will be going on his way, didn't it? But and certainly at the start of the season, there was a rumour that he wasn't happy, him and 2 or 3 other players. So I think that'll raise its ugly head again. But I've no disrespect to Laporte. I'm quite happy with John Stones, and he will make mistakes. But at the moment, he's sort of playing very, very well.
Yeah, definitely. Big up Rich and Chelsea fan in the chat as well. Hope you're both well. Next up is Emerick Laporte. 4 clearances, 3 interceptions, 1 tackle, 2 out of 3 ground duels were won. 6 times he lost the possession, was fouled once. 96 touches, 94% accurate passes. 3 out of 6 long balls were accurate, and none out of 1 dribble attempts were successful. Thoughts on Laporte's performance?
Well, he needed that, didn't he? He needed that after last week. I thought he would. I didn't think he'd play, actually. I thought Diaz and Stones would play in preparation for the big one on Saturday. So I was a bit surprised he played, but he needed that. It was good, solid performance. Absolutely nothing wrong again. Wasn't quite as good as Stonesy, but he didn't need to be. Obviously he's a different. He was asked to play a slightly different role, but I can't remember anything particularly unassured from him, and I think he needed it after obviously the debacle. Get that out of his mind. What happened the other day, and carry on, and he can have his little rest now, and as I say, battle with Mr. Stones and Diaz for that centre back spot, which he's going to have to do. But I was quite happy. I thought it was a competent performance after what happened last weekend. Yeah,
big up Maisie in the chat as well. Hope you're well. Next up is João Cancelo. 3 assists. That's impressive for who was playing at left back. 1 clearance, 3 interceptions, 2 tackles, dribbled past once. 2 out of 5 ground duels were won. 1 out of 4 aerial duels were won. Lost the possession 15 times. 1 foul, 134 touches, 91% accurate passes, 7 key passes, 1 out of 2 crosses were accurate. 8 out of 10 long balls were accurate. 3 big chances created. 1 shot off target, 2 shots blocked, none out of 1 dribble attempts was successful. Hit the woodwork once, and 1 big chance missed. Thoughts on Cancelo's performance?
Well, it was an ideal game for him last night, wasn't it? Because he wasn't asked to defend, and I think those stats there show he loses ground duels, he loses aerial duels. As a defender, I think he's pretty bang average, to say the least. But that's not how we play. It's not how we play him. And to be honest with you, he was excellent. He was excellent going forward. Obviously, you tend to forget he's a defender sometimes, and everything went wrong the other day. I think the last game or the game before, I was saying he had a pretty poor game, didn't he? Everything went wrong in that one, but this one. 80% of perhaps of what he tried worked. So they say three assists is superb. He was my man of the match. I'll tell you that now. He was my just ahead of perhaps Stones last night. imperious, if that's the word. And as I say, he didn't have to defend, but when he did defend, he struggled a bit, because I remember that. I think there's one day he said he got dribble past. I did actually look at that and went, oh God, because I remember it at the time, and I thought, oh well, but there you go. He makes up for it in other ways, and Pep's quite happy how he plays. So who are we to argue? But yeah, I say my man of the match yesterday, definitely.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. I give him man of the match. Next up then is Rodri. 114 touches, 95% accurate passes, 8 out of 10 long balls were accurate, 1 shot blocked, 1 out of 2 dribble attempts were successful, 3 out of 7 ground duels were won, 8 times he lost the possession, 2 fouls, 2 interceptions, and 2 tackles. Thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, I think he'll have a tougher game on Saturday. To be honest with you, but I thought he enjoyed. I think he enjoyed this one because it was a little bit easier. It was a little bit easier against Brugge, and he revels in these sort of games. I think those stats sort of show it, don't they? He can sort of dominate more. Obviously, as I say, I like him to step up a bit more for the bigger games. But I think that was ideal for him yesterday. He was just comfortable. Didn't really have to do that much special. He just roamed around and sort of got involved, got his body in the way. He's a big lad, obviously. So, yeah, again, without being exceptional, just did the job we would expect in a game like that last night.
Yeah, definitely. Next up then is Ilkay Gundogan. 1 assist, 73 touches, 86% accurate passes, 3 key passes, none out of 1 crosses were accurate, 1 out of 1 long balls were accurate, 1 big chance created, 2 shots off target, 1 shot block, 1 out of 1 dribble attempts were successful, 1 out of 2 ground duels were won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won, and lost the possession 12 times. Thoughts on Gundo's performance?
Yeah, I think he's still a bit not quite as much as KDB. I think he's still battling to get back into some sort of what's the word? Some sort of form. He's trying to get back into some sort of form. I thought he could have done slightly better with that one in the first half. I know it was a difficult one when it came high to him, and I think he was onside, and obviously we should have had a corner, and the stupid referee gave a goal kick, but because I think Mignolet got a foot to it or something, but I think it was hitting the post anyway. But I just thought there was like a big wide section to the goalkeeper's right, and all he had to do was side foot it in, and a guy of his ability, I expect that, but as I say, I still think he's trying to find a little bit of form at the moment. And I think those stats were okay. They saw some like a key pass and stuff like this. He did okay. I think he just needs a bit more time, to be honest with you. He needs a few more games under his belt in the same way. I think Gundogan does that. I think Gundogan takes a little bit of time to get going. So, again, not the greatest, but it just a standard effort. He could have done better. I mean, I am thinking he's playing on Saturday, so I would hope he steps up a little bit better on Saturday, but it's no guarantee he will. It depends. Obviously, there's a couple of wild cards on Saturday that when I did my little preview, but yeah, I do expect him to start, but I won't be surprised if he doesn't. But yeah, I think he just needs to play a bit more play time, I think, to get back into it. He's one of our average players last night, if you like, but he did enough to say he still did 1 or 2 key things, which is all you want. As long as he does that and we get something out of it, then great.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, he was one of the more average players. He didn't have much to do, to be honest. Next up is Bernardo Silva. Where has he gone? There he is. 66 touches, 91% accurate passes. 3 out of 3 long balls were accurate. 1 shot blocked, 2 out of 2 dribble attempts were successful, 3 out of 8 ground duels were won, 11 times he lost the possession, 1 foul, 1 interception, 1 tackle, and was dribbled past 3 times. Thoughts on Bernardo's performance?
Yeah, I didn't think it was his best one last night, actually. I was just looking at Stuart Brennan's rating. He's sort of rated him quite high, but I thought he had an excellent game. I didn't think he was at his best last night. I certainly noticed a couple of times where he lost the ball. The old bubblegum had lost its stickiness, obviously, on his boots. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to slag Bernardo off. He's a great player. And a couple of times he actually got in more dangerous positions. I keep saying this. I want to see him in more dangerous positions for City, where he can actually, when he beats a man, it means there's a chance on goal, and he doesn't seem with Pep's system at the moment, he doesn't get that many opportunities. And I think there's certainly one or two I noticed last night where he just on the edge of the box, something just didn't quite go right, and the defender managed to get a little nick on it or something like that. But it could have been trouble for Brugge if he'd sort of just gone his way. But yeah, I don't think it was his best performance last night. But even his worst performance, you're going to get 110% from Bernardo anyway. So yeah, not great, but he contributed to the team as a whole and worked as hard as he ever does.
Yeah. Onto the front three now, starting with Riyad Mahrez, who was on the right. I don't actually have his stats here. Oh no, I've had a stinker.
They're that
bad. Where's he gone? Here we go. There we go. 69 minutes played, got a goal, 2 shots on target, none out of 2 dribble attempts were successful. That's not great. 1 big chance miss, 45 touches, 88% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 1 out of 2 crosses were accurate, 4 out of 4 long balls were accurate, 1 out of 4 ground duels were won. None out of 1 aerial duels were won. Lost the possession 9 times. 1 offside, 1 interception, and 1 tackle. Thoughts on Riyad's performance?
Yeah, again, one of our sort of more standard players, I think. I mean, the goal he scored, if you think about it, he actually made a mess of it in the first place, and we got a bit lucky that it fell back and he was there in the right place to score the goal, which all credit to him. If you score a goal, that'll do for me. You can have a rubbishy game as long as you score a goal or two. I'll be happy with that. But again, he wasn't really at it, was he, against seemingly lesser opposition? Let's be honest about it. I think those stats there sum that up. I mean, hardly ever dribbled past anyone or tried to dribble past anyone. It's a bit of a disappointing night, although he did do enough to sort of say certainly 1 or 2 key things he did, and he scored a goal. So you can't really complain. But yeah, I think we want to see a bit more from him, don't we, mate? I mean, he's as I say, he's bogging off in a few weeks, so we want to see a little bit more from him in the meantime. I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah. When he was on the ball facing his defender, he just seemed weak to me. He was getting shoved off the ball too easily, in my opinion. So I think that part of his game needs to improve a little bit as well, his strength on the ball.
If we can have 4 or 5 players have an off day and all score a goal, I'll be quite happy. But it doesn't usually work like that, does he? But he is a bit of a funny one at the moment, Mahrez. I say, he is a strange guy. He's just one of these that sort of goes under the radar, and he's obviously got these fans. Of course, he has. We know all about that. But yeah, it is an odd one. Not disappointed. I just thought he was okay, and he could have done a little bit better. But he did perhaps what he had to do on the night. He didn't have to put as much effort in as we'd hope, I suppose, against that Brugge last night. They say they weren't overly excited. Certainly the second half they were all better. I think all the 6 players played better the second half. But as I said, I think that's because Brugge was tiring. But yeah, he got a goal. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. Big up Mel in the chat as well. Hope you're well. Next up then, Phil Foden. 80 minutes played. He got the first goal of the game, but if he missed that, he would have been crucified. 1 shot on target, 2 shots off target, 1 shot blocked. 1 out of 2 dribble attempts were successful. 53 touches, 85% accurate passes, 2 key passes. None out of 1 crosses were accurate. 1 out of 2 long balls were accurate. 2 out of 5 ground duels were won. 11 times he lost the possession, 1 tackle, and was dribbled past once. Thoughts on Foden's performance?
Yeah, again, he was okay. I think it was certainly better, slightly better if you look at the level Mahrez was, etc. It was a little bit better than that. It's not a classic by any means, but as you said, he scored the goal. But I mean, I think there was like 4 or 5 of them lining up, and it all sort of beat them all, and it eventually got to Foden to side foot it in, didn't it? And I was a bit worried he was offside while I was there. I thought, surely he was offside again, but obviously he wasn't. But you never know at the game, do you? You can't really tell till you wait for a check to be done, etc., etc. But again, not his greatest, but I mean, sometimes these players, perhaps in these games where, all right, it turned out well in the end, perhaps they do sort of rein in a little bit and save a little bit of themselves. I mean, you can't do what Phil Foden does match in, match out, that sort of style. So sometimes perhaps these clever guys, these clever players, just do enough. And I think Phil did that last night. I think he just did enough to sort of get through and keep Pep happy and keep the fans happy without being anything spectacular. Are you still there, mate? Have you gone for a brew?
I've no idea what happened then. Can you still hear me?
We're still here. Don't worry, guys. We're still here.
Yeah, just about. Bloody hell. Next up then is Jack Grealish. 68 minutes played. 1 out of 5 dribble attempts were successful. 65 touches, 84% accurate passes. 3 key passes. None out of 1 crosses were accurate. 2 big chances created. 3 out of 9, ground duels were won. 1 out of 2 aerial duels were won. 17 times lost the possession. 2 fouls. Was fouled once, offside once. 1 interception and 1 tackle. Thoughts on Grealish's performance?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Grealish. I mean, I've watched the highlights back. I mean, at the game, again, I'll stick up for him. He's getting used to the system, of course he is. And I think Pep's intimated that he wants to play more central one day, and I can understand that. And I think when you did see him more in the centre of the pitch, I thought he contributed a little bit more than he was on the wing, to be honest. There's a couple of times where he put it through the middle. I think probably one of those key passes and stuff was where he was actually in the middle of the pitch rather than out on the wing. I think obviously going forward, that's something is going to happen with Grealish, because I do like Grealish. He's getting a bit of stick now, of course. Even Stuart Brennan gave him a 5 out of 10, which is ridiculous in the evening news. I don't know where he got. He wasn't a 5 out of 10, mate. I mean, I just don't understand it. Certainly was a minimum average of a little bit better, because there was 2 definite key passes that could have resulted in goals, or there was a good one of them was a goal, wasn't it? The Foden thing. And there's another one he played a superb ball through. I know it's at least 2 or 3, but that from the middle of the pitch rather than the wing. And I think that's obviously going forward what we're going to look at with Grealish. But I'm sorry, I don't understand where Stuart Brett. It's difficult, isn't it? He has a different view of the game. I have a different view of the game where I am. Obviously, I see a lot of Grealish one half because he's attacking our end, and then obviously I don't see as much the second half. So it is, he's got a great view as a press guy, hasn't he? Because he's sat on the halfway line or wherever he sits. So they do get a great view of the whole thing. But I thought Grealish was okay. He certainly wasn't one of our worst players last night. I thought it was fine, and people should stop getting off his back already. I don't understand why everyone's getting at him all of a sudden. A lot, not everyone. It's not. I'm not going to say the whole fan base. Like some people, we've got a horrible fan base because a couple of dozen people say something. That's not a fan base. That's just a couple of dozen idiots or whatever. Who've probably never been to a game or watched a game half the time. You know what I mean? But no, I thought it was okay, Grealish. I thought I saw a bit of the future with Grealish last night, where he'd been more effective playing through the middle, setting things up and doing his own thing as well. But it wasn't great, but he certainly wasn't by no means was our worst player. What do you think of that Stuart Brennan 5 out of 10? Mate?
I think it's
5 out of 10 for that. How could you give him 5 out of 10 for that? I mean, that's the lowest score of any of the City players. They're all 6s, 7s, and 8s, and Jack Grealish got a 5 out of 10. I think Mr. Brennan's got a vendetta against him as well now, as well as some of the fans.
Jealous of his haircut, that's what it is.
Well, we're all jealous of that. I'm jealous of that, mate. I'm not going to get to it. No, I think Grealish did okay, and I think say that was pathetic. Sometimes he does that, Stuart Brennan. Simon Pekowski's perhaps not as bad when he does his ratings in the evening news, but Stuart, I don't know what it is. He just occasionally will throw one out there that's totally whack with what everyone else is thinking. I mean, there's no way. Even if you think he had a bad game, there's no way you could give him 5 out of 10 for last night.
Yeah. We've actually just got news from the Etihad that Zach Steffen's just signed a new contract to last until 2025.
No, that'll get rid of that Stegen thing, whatever he's called, won't he? Surely, I mean, I don't even understand the point of that. But that did surprise me actually, because I think we were talking the other day, weren't we? I thought he might want a little bit more. But then again, if you sign a new contract, that means someone's got to come in and pay the big bucks for him, haven't they? So it's a means to an end sometimes. It's tactical, it's financial, and they might still be willing to lose Zach Steffen, but obviously someone will have to pay a few more quid for him now, won't they? Because he's re-signed the contract. So very clever from City, and I'm sure Zach Steffen is agreeing with whatever it is. I'm sure he's gone into this his eyes wide open as to what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah. Next up, then we're on to the subs, starting with Gabriel Jesus. Was on the pitch for 22 minutes, got a goal, 2 shots on target, 2 out of 2 dribble attempts were successful, 1 big chance missed, 17 touches, 91% accurate passes, 2 out of 2 ground duels were won, and he lost the possession 3 times. Thoughts on Jesus' performance?
Yeah, because he's one of my wild cards for the derby on Saturday. I think obviously he could be in there. I think he can do a job, and he did a job last night, didn't he? All right, Brugge were absolutely knackered by the time he'd come on the pitch, and so he had perhaps a bit more space than he'd normally get. But he scored his goal. Mignolet got an hand to it, fair enough. But at the end of the day, it was on target. The goalie couldn't stop it, and that's what I say. As long as he's on, to make the goalie work. As long as the goalie has to do something, I'm happy. If he blasted it over, I wouldn't be very happy about it. But it went in, fortunately, and. I thought it was good when he come on and say from last night's team and the substitutes. He's one of the sort of guys who might have just sort of played his way into Pep's mind just a little bit for Saturday if he wasn't thinking of playing him from the start. And he never lets us down. I don't think he ever lets us down. He's not perfect, of course. He's not. But that's I think he scored the last 2 games now, hasn't he? And that's all. That's all we can ask for him. And again, another player who gets a bit of rubbish from fans and the media, etc. But I think he did fine last night in that 30 minutes or so he was on the pitch.
Yeah. Next up is Raheem Sterling. He came on at the same time as Jesus, also got a goal. 1 shot on target, 2 out of 3 dribble attempts were successful, 26 touches, 93% accurate passage, 1 key pass. None out of 2 crosses were accurate. 2 out of 4 ground duels were won. 6 times he lost the possession, 1 interception, and was dribbled past once. Thoughts on Sterling's performance?
Yeah, I think they're identical to Jesus, aren't they? I mean, I thought, hey, we got a bit of the old Sterling back last night. But as I said, you've got to put the proviso that, as I said, we'll keep saying it, but Brugge was pretty tired by then, to be honest with you. I know they made some substitutions, didn't they? He made 3 or 4 substitutions, but he came on at a time where, you'd expect him to do something. But at least we saw something. I mean, it was one of his typical goals, wasn't it? I mean, you start thinking, let's play more through the middle. Let's, that sort of thing. You end up with Grealish and Sterling falling over each other in the future in my team because they'll both be playing through the middle. But I thought I liked it. I liked his little cameo last night. I thought it was a little bit better. And as I say, it's nothing. It's what 20 minutes. But hey, we'll take anything with Raheem, won't we? Any little glint of light. I'll take it. And as he scored a goal, so absolutely fantastic. So I was chuffed for him, to be honest with you. I'm hoping that'll do him good. And again, people are picking him for Saturday. I've seen teams today on social media where he's in the front 3. So I mean, it's amazing what just a little cameo like that can do to change fans' minds and people's minds. But I doubt it. But as I say, I was happy. I was quite happy for him and us as fans because we want to see a bit of the old Sterling, don't we? That's what we want. No one wants it. No one wants him to leave and go somewhere else and rediscover his form. We want him to rediscover his form for us. That's what we all want. All right, it gets harder and harder to actually accept that because obviously game after game of averageness is just isn't good. It gets you down. It will do. And it gets him down, obviously. As I say, he's a human being. We're all human beings. But a little glint last night. I thought a little glint of the old Raheem. Not perfect by any means, but I was pretty chuffed. I was pretty chuffed for him and us. And let's hope it continues.
Yeah, definitely. Next up is Kevin De Bruyne. Was only on the pitch for 15 minutes, 19 touches, 71% accurate passes. None out of 1 crosses were accurate. 1 out of 1 long balls were accurate. 1 shot off target. 2 out of 5 ground duels were won. 5 times he lost the possession. 1 foul, 2 tackles, and was dribbled past twice. Thoughts on De Bruyne's performance?
I cannot understand in any way why Pep brought him on. If he's not going to play him, just don't play. I can't see the point of giving him 15 minutes, what it does. It's just like bringing on a kid for 15 minutes. I have no idea what was in Pep's mind to do that, to be honest with you. He could have picked up an injury or anything in that 15 minutes. It was unnecessary. It wasn't needed. What was the point? I mean, if he's already penciled in the team for Saturday, he's already penciled in the team for Saturday. Playing him at 15 minutes against Brugge isn't going to make a difference. And all it did was probably upset the apple cart because he blasted one shot over, didn't he? That he perhaps should have done better with, to be honest with you. So it didn't help him psychologically. I thought, obviously Pep's brilliant. We know he's brilliant, of course he is, but he does make some silly decisions. And I think bringing KDB on for 15 minutes was just a total waste of time. And I think not an insult to KDB, but it's pretty close, to be honest with you, because in my mind, he starts on Saturday at Old Trafford, even though he's not been in the greatest form. Of course he hasn't, but you've got to have him started, even for his presence, for who he is. And I just don't understand it, Charlie. I don't understand why he brought him on for 15 minutes. Am I being a bit daft there, or would you agree with that?
No, I'd agree with that, because I think as soon as we all saw the team news, we thought instantly, because Diaz was missing, he'll start on Saturday, which is basically a guarantee anyway. De Bruyne was missing, so we were assuming he'd start on Saturday as well. And Jesus didn't start as well, so maybe he'll start on Saturday, but that one's not quite as definite, in my opinion.
It's just pointless, mate. And he does this. I mean, he's a great man. Of course, he's a great manager. He knows more. He's forgot more than we'll ever know in the first place about tactics, etc. I just thought it was unnecessary, and it didn't help. If he'd scored, yeah, great, but it didn't. He didn't exactly help his cause at the moment because he's not been on form. But giving him 15 minutes in a game like that isn't going to change that, whether he's on form or not. So a bit disappointed in Pep, really, for bringing Kevin on in that. Unless he wanted to play him, because, again, it's Brugge, it's a Belgian team, and he wants the Belgian fans to see him. Perhaps that might be an element of it. I don't know. He got a standing ovation over there, didn't he, at their place? If we can perhaps talk about the fans just before we go today as well.
Yeah, we will.
Brugge fans, quick little word on them. But... yeah, it might have been for that. I mean, I might be unfair there. That might have been the theory behind it. He didn't want to play him the full game, obviously, because he knows. But yeah, so I'm going to defend Pep now. I've just changed my mind totally. That might be the reason. But perhaps I'm trying to be too clever. I don't know. But yeah, I suppose that was a nice touch. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's football. We do things to suit us, not to suit other people. So I thought it was a weird decision anyway.
Yeah. Next up then is Alexander Zinchenko. Was only on the pitch for 10 minutes, 1 clearance, 2 times he lost to possession, 17 touches, 83% accurate passes, 1 out of 2 long balls were accurate. Not much to say about him, really, is there?
No, I thought he was playing from the start, to be honest with you. I'm very surprised he didn't start the game. Again, another decision I was a little bit surprised. With my start, I think I got 6 right out of 11, which is pretty pathetic. I don't usually do that badly with it. And it was sort of weird team, very strong in some parts, but other parts you thought, well, what's he doing there? Just a bit of a weird team selection for me. He was good enough, of course it was on the night. But I thought Zinchenko was a shoo-in to start that one, because he's not going to start many games, and that's the sort of game, because he does all right in Europe. As from I've been looking back at my Champions League ratings, for the last season or two, and he does all right in Europe. I was very surprised he didn't start last night and give Cancelo a rest. To be honest with you, I don't understand again the logic of our boss, but there you go. So again, in 10 minutes, what could he do? I mean, there's not really that much time for him to do anything. All right, he was just brought on. He's got another little appearance, if you like, but. Weird, very weird for me. Did you think he'd start? I honestly thought he would start that game last night.
Yeah, I thought they would rest one of Cancelo or Walker, to be honest. So, and then he'd come in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Rick Sports is asking there, any players rested for the United game? I think he did and he didn't he, last night? I think
a bit of both, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a mixture, As I said, I would have rested Cancelo for United. But he didn't. He played him. I don't understand some of the little choices he made last night. When you've got someone like Zinchenko to come in, especially. But then again, we wouldn't have had the three Cancelo assist, would we? So he's that's why he's paid the big money. I mean, I'm not a footballer. That's probably why, mate. So that's why I'll never be a football manager, because obviously my logic isn't the same as Pep's logic. But there you go. Yeah, again, Pep, you're right, mate. Yeah, sorry, my apologies again. That's twice now. I've had to apologise to Pep in the last 5 minutes. Yeah, as far as Rich Sports goes, there was players rested. But it was a bit of a mixed bag for me, and it's made it a bit more confusing trying to predict what our starting 11 is now. I thought it's pretty nailed on, but I have 2 or 3 sort of things now where he's set my mind thinking, Pep, as to what he might do now. He might change it a little bit to what we think is our best team, and most fans, we did a little podcast the other day, and all 4 of us, I think, agreed on the best team for the United game. So I think he's put a little bit of a spanner in the works. But then again, it might be to upset Ollie. He might be trying to confuse him as well, which is all part of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't confuse them sometimes. Next up, then, the final player, Cole Palmer, was on the pitch for 10 minutes, came on at the same time as Zinchenko. 10 touches, 75% accurate passes, 1 shot on target, none out of 3 dribble attempts were successful, 1 out of 4 ground duels were won, 4 times he lost the possession, and 1 tackle. Thoughts on Palmer's performance?
Yeah, again, a little token effect, wasn't it? He almost had another Champions League goal. Perhaps he hit the target, which is all we wanted, but I think it was quite an easy save for Mignolet in the end. I think that chance he had towards the end. Again, I don't mind people like Palmer coming on for 10 minutes. It's people like KDB I'm a bit confused by when Pep does things like that. But I'm all right with Cole Palmer, and it doesn't do him any harm, does it? He didn't have the greatest 10 minutes in his City career. Obviously, nothing quite worked particularly, but it's nice to see him at least get another little run out in the Champions League.
Yeah. Big up Anthony in the chat as well. Hope you're well, mate. We will be talking about the Derby game tomorrow, so make sure you tune in for that one. Next up then, Pep. We've been talking about him for the last 5 minutes. Do you think he got it right?
He's a genius, mate. I mean, I'm sorry, Pep, I doubted you. I mean, obviously, it's funny, isn't it, when you start chatting about things, and you sort of my mind's sort of going around all the time with things, and I say something, and then sometimes when I do something, I watch it back, and I thought, yeah, but what, so I always try and question myself, and my mind does that, and obviously with Pep, I think he played it pretty much right last night from a football point of view, from a nice person point of view, to let the Belgian fans see KDB for 10 minutes and stuff like that. I think he did a perfect saying that Cancelo. Yeah, I mean, without him, perhaps he would have drawn 1-1. It might have been a total disaster. So thankfully he played him instead of Zinchenko. So yeah, I think Pep did a pretty good job last night, even though I would have probably said about 20 minutes ago I was a bit confused by him, but all of a sudden I think it was another masterclass from Pep, to be honest with you.
Next up then, Club Brugge. How do you think they played?
Yeah, as I said, there's no physicality last night, and they worked so hard. I said you can't keep that up. As I said, the level of football they play at, they wouldn't have that. And it's not just physical; it is mental as well. Having to fully concentrate on what you're doing. You could see by the City goals at times there's probably 2 or 3, 4 players even with a chance, and obviously it just fell to a different. Certainly that Foden goal, you think about that, they're all lined up like a diagonal line across the goal. I don't know where the defenders were, and you look at things like the Gundogan head and stuff like this. I mean, the defenders are trying to do anything, and obviously it sort of went well for us that second half. But I thought they were all right. I thought they were all right for one half. I thought they deserved to be going in at 1-1 at half time. I thought the work they put in, they deserved that. They totally stymied us. They totally kept us at bay that first half, and whatever we tried didn't work, and all credit to them. And they had a good team. They're not champions of Belgium because they're a rubbishy team. They had a good team, but obviously it's a bit like to me, it's a little bit like a very, very good championship team who wins the championship up to the Premier League. I think it's that sort of level in Belgium. They've got a good chance of retaining the title. They're in second spot. They've only, they're only a win behind the guys in front of them who I've never heard of, mind you. I don't know who they are. The other team that's above them, I've never heard of them, to be honest with you. But Saint something or other, I've never heard of them anyway in Belgium. But I think they'll be all right, and I'm quite happy because as I say, I thought they were a little bit physical in that first game. They didn't show that aspect last night, which might have been a good thing, might have been a bad thing. I'm not too sure as far as they're concerned. But yeah, they're all right. They'll get in the Europa League. I think they've got an outside chance still of qualifying, haven't they? If PSG if we beat PSG, for instance, and they win the next game, they've got an outside chance of getting in, haven't they? They've got an outside chance of getting in second because PSG are struggling just a little bit with injuries and stuff at the moment. So, hey, you never know. They might just sneak in. But at this point in time, I think they'll be going into the Europa. But yeah, they're okay. I thought they were okay last night. I like the fact they weren't dirty and physical. I did enjoy that aspect of it. I thought it was going to be a bit of a, before the derby. That's why I was worried about the team he put out. Some of the better players getting a bit of a knock or two, but it was fine. So that was okay.
Yeah. Next up, the referee Antonio Mateu. He may be a familiar name to some City fans. He actually refereed the Champions League final. That's why I don't like the guy.
Well, he refereed the Liverpool Champions League second leg thing as well. Don't forget, in 2018, It was absolute joke in that, to be honest with you. He's one of these guys who it's about me. Simple as he just wants everything to be about him. I mean, you play that first half. I mean, I've seen this from a few referees actually. They don't even play 1 minute of injury. There's got to be some injury time in the half. I don't care what anyone says. And the score's 1-1. I think we were sort of pressing at the time.
We were attacking, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he just blew straight. And I don't understand that. There should be, to me, timekeeping. I mean, that's another total thing anyway. Timekeeping should be taken away from the referees. It should be given to someone else. And he's, to when full timers. I think the referees, and certainly referees like him who like to be the centre of attention, take advantage of things like that. I don't like him. I don't like him. He preens around that pitch. He's not. He's got an attitude. He's got an attitude. He's Mr. I am, and we've got a few in the Premier League like that. I mean, it's bad enough with them. We don't really want them in the Champions League as well. But that's what refereeing is these days. They want to be the centre of attention. Some of them, and he's one of those, unfortunately.
Yeah. Next up, then. You said you wanted to talk about the fans. There was 50,000 there last night. How do you think the fans were?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the atmosphere was okay. I think you could hear, when I watched some of the highlights, you could hear more of their fans on the highlights than we did at the ground, to be honest with you. And that's just because of how the sound works, I think. But I must admit, they're supposed to be passionate. I mean, I was stuck on a tram with a load singing their heads off, and they certainly didn't sing their heads off all this game. They're one of the perhaps less enthusiastic fan bases. I mean, once you equalised, you went a bit potty and giving out all this to the City fan, like all the usual rubbish you get from these European fans who talk about respect and things, and then they come to our ground and they just don't show any respect to us. But you're supposed to go over there and respect them and stuff like this. It's just talk rubbish, which is what most fans do. But yeah, I wasn't only one of the sort of. They brought a lot. All credit to them. They're not a big club. I mean, obviously the ground only holds 20,000. I think they've got good support, but they did bring a few. They enjoyed themselves. Plenty of ladies present as well, which I like to see. You don't always see that with these European games. You don't see a lot of many women at the games, but there's a few there for Brugge. I'm going all wrong again. Brugge last night. So I just it's just the arrogance. It's not just particularly Brugge fans. I just don't like the way the fans are, and our fans are no angels, of course we're not, but I think we're a bit more respectful when we're abroad. I think we perhaps have an older fan as well when we're abroad who shows a bit more respect to the home fans. I'm sure the City fans were giving it out to the Brugge fans over there, but you come here and it's like not just Brugge, it's the Italians, the French, they've all got attitudes, and it's they all think, and they get away with it because nothing ever happens to them. They can be literally throwing things at you, and the stewards and things don't do a bean about it. If you did it over there, you'd be locked up, you'd be out of the ground, you'd be baton charged, and that's what happened. They get away with it over here, and we let them get away with it. But yeah, I thought they were one of the less noisiest ones. But as I said, they did sound okay on the TV. But I thought City fans were good again last night. And it sometimes are with these European games. If you do have these I call it zombie chanting, which we didn't get with Brugge. But all their songs, I mean, I was on the tram and they were singing Glory, Glory, Man United and all this sort of thing, all this rubbish. And
I was singing You'll Never Walk Alone.
I was on my own there. There's a few other City fans on the tram, but I was sort of saying, who the F do you support as we do, you know what I mean? But it's only me. It's only me singing it at them, I felt, I should behave at my age, but that's how I am, you know what I mean? But yeah, and they had all weird songs. You have like English words to songs, and they were singing about Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday. So they obviously picked up things from different games on they watch on telly or whatever, and they sort of sing it in English, but it's not quite English because they're only miming a foreign language, if you like. So it sounds a bit weird, but yeah, interesting. But as I said, I didn't hear much of that in the ground. That was on the tram. I heard all these little different songs in the space of about 10 or 15 minutes. But as I said, they weren't quite as noisy in the ground. They didn't have any drums. I'm glad about that. I hate it when we let these clubs get drums in and stuff. I mean, why? Just tell them, no, you're not allowed to have drums in. It's hard enough as it is. As I said, with some of these scenes with zombie chanting, to hear ourselves sing, we try our best, but sometimes I just feel like giving up sometimes when some of these European games, because I can't hear myself think, to be honest with you. I just, what's the point of shouting? Because you can't hear over the racket of the drums and various things. But yeah, I wasn't, and obviously we won't go back to what happened to that Guido over there, but I can understand it looking at some of the fans, but there's just an arrogance, and I don't like it. And I know we've done it over the years, but I'm sure City fans. I don't get to many away games in Europe, but I'm sure City fans show them far more respect than their fans do when they come to our place and other English grounds as well, not just ours, of course. So, just a general thing I wanted to mention about European fans. I think they get a good press, but I don't like them, to be honest with you. I think they're arrogant. I don't like the sort of person who comes over here. Not all of them, of course. There's some okay ones, but yeah, I just think generally they're giving too much credit over it. Oh, wonderful fans. I don't think they're particularly wonderful, some of them that travel. And it seems to be younger fans as well. I don't think a lot of you City younger fans can afford to travel, but it seems to be a lot of younger fans can travel from these countries. So they must have a bit more cash than us, mate. They must have to come over here, the younger fans to come over. So anyway, that was just a little thing I wanted to mention.
Just quickly on the fans, the 1894 group did a brilliant thing before the game with all the flags and then the big banner going across the south stand. I know he was there. Was it?
I think it had gone by the time I got in, mate. I just got in as the Champions League anthem was playing. So but I saw that. But was it last year? They did not last year because of COVID. The year before, I think they did it, didn't they, with the big boat? So yeah, I got in and I got my flag, and I was going to keep the flag, but it's too big, so I just left it. I usually keep little mementos like that, but I couldn't be bothered last night. I've got loads of tin foil and
it's all over the year.
It's not even City colours anyway, so it just looks a bit that, but obviously it works for what they did on the night. But it's nice when they do things like that. It's probably wasn't the biggest. It's a bit of an odd game to do it for. I would do it for a bigger game, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have wasted money on last night doing it. I don't understand the logic. I would have sacked PSG.
I think it was for Aguero.
Right. All right, yeah, well, fair enough. Absolutely. Well, if anything for Sergio, that'd be great. I saw there's a banner. I didn't read. What did that banner say on the main stand opposite the cameras? There's a banner.
I think it was about Guido.
Was it about Guido? Right. I thought it might have been the Guido one, but I wasn't sure it was the Aguero, because obviously we were singing for Aguero a bit last night as well. So hopefully it'll be.
And then there was one in the away end saying "Together Against Violence" or something like that.
Well, one thing I noticed as well, just to say, they did boo the taking the knee to a man. It wasn't just a few of them. Most of them booed it. I have no idea why. Belgian fans, they must have the reasons for that. In the same way, we have reasons for booing the UEFA League, UEFA Champions League thing. But I was a bit surprised. I thought Belgium was quite a multiracial country and would sort of go along with that. But perhaps there's a right-wing extremist. But there might be some other reason for it. I don't know. I've not looked into it. But they did all boo it, and obviously we sort of hailed abuse at them when they did that sort of thing after they sort of done it. But yeah, I don't think that's necessary. But it's Eastern Europeans, usually, isn't it, who boo that sort of thing or refuse to do it. You don't usually get Western European clubs and stuff and fans doing it. So I'll be interested to know if anyone knows out there. Leave a little message as to why. Is it a right wing sort of country? I'm not sure who's in power there at the moment, to be honest with you. But a bit sad. Just keep your gob shut. That's what I do. I don't particularly boo the Champions League anthem now. Just keep your gob shut. I don't do it. If they start a City song up, I'll sing it. They start singing City or Blue Moon or whatever, I will join in. But I don't actively boo. I just don't do anything for it particularly.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned it before actually, but who's your man of the match?
Yeah, well, it's got to be old Zhao, hasn't it? I mean, it would have been Zinchenko, wouldn't it? It was left for me picking the team, but it would have been. He would have been left back, because Cancelo wouldn't have even been on the pitch. But there you go. That's how much I know about football. There you go. Well, not a very good thing to say, is it? I do know a bit about football, but obviously, you know what I mean, mate. Don't you? What I'm thinking that it's all part of the fun, isn't it? It's all part of the fun of being a supporter, because we all think we know better, but we can put our opinions, and like everyone's got an opinion, haven't they? But they're fantastic. I thought he was fantastic, Cancelo. I thought one of his better games, definitely. First time I picked him, I think, as man of the match, even though he's had some good games. So he must have had a good game for me to do that. So there you go. That says it all, really.
Yeah, and the last thing we're going to talk about is the table after the matches. Of course, we won 4-1. The other game in the group was actually a draw between Leipzig and PSG. A late penalty got the equaliser for Leipzig, which means, if you have read the title, City have gone top of the group after those fixtures. PSG dropped down to second. That's who we have next in 2 weeks or 3 weeks' time, I'm not sure. Club Brugge stay in third and Leipzig are in fourth. So 2 big games in the group next time out. Us playing PSG and Club Brugge playing Leipzig for a potential Europa League spot.
Well, that's it, yeah, but Club Brugge still got a chance, mate. If we beat PSG and Club Brugge win, they're only a point behind PSG with a game left. What's the last round of games? Who's playing who in the last round? We're playing
Leipzig, which will
so it's PSG against Brugge. So it's all on that. Brugge beat PSG, mate. They're through. If we beat PSG and Brugge beat Red Bull, we're not supposed to call them. I mean, RB. Not called Red Bull in Germany because of obviously connections. They're not allowed to be called that, are they, for some stupid reason? But there you go. So yeah, I mean, it's still a chance for Brugge. Definitely Europa League, of course, but hey, still a chance for them, as I say. As long as we, I just want to beat PSG. I just want to get revenge and beat them. With you. And there's certainly no reason why we shouldn't at the moment. They might be getting a few players back by the time we play them that have been injured and stuff. But yeah, hopefully we can win that. And it'd be interesting. I like to see that. It'd be nice to see Brugge actually nick it. That would shut PSG up, won't it? Because we're not the biggest. I mean, I know we're compared to them and stuff like this, but I don't think there's any comparison between PSG and City, to be honest with you. I think as far as history's concerned, as far as standing in world football is concerned, everyone will compare us and say we're similar clubs because of all the money and stuff. But I'm sorry, they don't have every club's got its history, and PSG have got history, but it's nothing compared to our history and as a football team. And if anyone says anything different, you obviously don't know much about football or know much about football history.
Yeah, that's it. Just quickly before we wrap it up, mate, where can we find you?
Yeah, if it's of course, if you're all confused, guys, it's Bernard at Charles Deneen, but obviously Charles Deneen's just my Sunday name. So if you go on Twitter and follow me at Charles Deneen, all the links to my stuff. I even do film and TV stuff as well. My YouTube channel on City, etc., etc. All the links and the podcast I do for with other guys as well. Just go on that Twitter and everything can be found on there. So that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, his links are in the description as well. Cheers for coming on, mate.
No problem. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Cheers. You can find me at MCFC Hibs on Twitter, Dugout Daily on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. The next time we're live will be tomorrow at 6 p.m. A bit of preview for the big one on Saturday. So we'll see you all then. Take care and peace. See you in a bit.